Brian Baldinger, who's been, I feel like
guys.
What part of the world did you not see the last 2 months? I've been following you on Instagram. You're everywhere.
Yeah, well, it's vacation season. I can't be all about just breaking down cover 2 in this league. You gotta have some other experiences. So yeah, I'm in Bahamas, Costa Rica, Belize. I got a few more, planned here before season kicks off.
How many sharks did you kill?
I didn't kill any, but I did see a few. I saw my first hammerhead of the season a couple days ago down in the Bahamas. That was good. That kind of got my blood going.
See, I thought I was going to say first hammerhead ever, and it was just of the season.
New pod, Baldy and the hammerhead. Let's go. Come on.
Baldy and the hammerhead.
Come on.
We got a lot to catch up on, Baldy.
Yes.
And hope everybody watching, listening today is excited to have Baldy back. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Of course, we are only 200, a little bit less than 200 subscribers away from 53,000.
Nick Roach.
Nick Roach number? Wow, that was going deep on Nick Roach there. Okay. And maybe we can get there by the end of the show. We'll also thank our new diehards before we get out of here. We got some George McCaskey video from yesterday. Asked him a couple questions we'll get to later on in the show as well. But let's get right to Baldy. There's a ton new catch up on since the last time we talked to you. Obviously, the big Justin Fields trade. All signs pointing to them drafting Caleb now. Big Keenan Allen trade. We'll hit on all of it. But I guess let's start with Justin. We spent so much time during the season talking to you about him and what he was going through. Were you surprised by anything with how that all unfolded?
Yeah, I was surprised by all of it. I was surprised by the lack of interest. I was surprised by how little Pittsburgh had to give up to get him. I was surprised that there weren't a bidding war, honestly, for Justin Fields. And so, I don't know, maybe all these other general managers, head coaches, maybe they all watch different film than I do. But I remember, and I'm not trying to compare Justin to Lamar Jackson, but this time last year, Lamar Jackson, anybody could have had him. Like Baltimore basically put him out there and said, okay, we've got him on this tag right here, but if you want him, he's yours. Atlanta, Washington, any of these teams, now we're good. And he goes and wins the MVP, and all these other teams have coaching changes, and quarterbacks are gone, and all this kind of stuff. So it's not the same comparison, but like for the New York Giants to go and say, okay, we'll give Drew Lock $5 million versus Justin Fields on his 4th year of his rookie contract, it makes no sense to me at all. None. So I mean, that's just one team, but I could name Las Vegas. I could name a lot of teams that I thought should have been in the sweepstakes for Justin Fields.
Baldy, I swear some of these teams just have off-season amnesia, and they forget that 3 months ago they were in quarterback hell. I mean, we were just living in a world where Tim Boyle was starting 3 games in a row for the Jets, and then all of a sudden we're in March and nobody needs Justin Fields. It makes no sense to me.
I thought the Jets. Okay, you want to go get Tyrod Taylor and give him all this money? Give me Justin Fields. The Los Angeles Rams. You want to go sign, Garoppolo and probably be injured before you start camp versus Justin Fields. Matt Stafford's missed 10 games over the last 2 years. They don't win many games when Stafford doesn't play. I mean, I could go around the league and go, Justin Fields is a better option than what they have. I'm with you. Like there's either amnesia or something happened at the Combine in Indy this year about how everything just fell apart. All these backup quarterbacks get signed. There's a carousel. These guys are moving every single hour in free agency. And I couldn't understand any of it. Maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers are just the smartest of the bunch.
Do you think it has more? I mean, you bring up Lamar Jackson, and obviously they're 2 different stratospheres of resume. But do you think it has more to do with they obviously are both very talented, but you have to curtail so much to them? Like whereas quarterbacks come in, you fit them to the system that's already in place, the personnel that's already in place. But with Lamar and Justin, you have to kind of flip everything to them and curtail the system to them and the personnel to them. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, a little bit. Look, I mean, Jim Harbaugh won a lot of games in San Francisco with an offense that catered the offense to Colin Kaepernick. He's got the same offense coordinator. He's not going to run that offense with the Chargers. I mean, coaching is adapting and making it work. I remember when Lamar took over for Joe Flacco, And I was like, so I talked to John Harbaugh about it. So did you install a new offense? He goes, no, we have the same offense. We had things for Lamar to do that we will now employ. But we had this as all part of their offense. Now, he might have been shooting me BS. I don't know. But no, I think that's coaching is, okay, we got a guy that can run the ball as well as any quarterback in this league. Why wouldn't we put read options, quarterback keepers, sweeps? Why wouldn't we put that in part of our offense? It's not really that hard to actually do.
That reminds me of this. Baldy, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's been this Mike Tomlin clip that's been kind of going viral throughout the offseason here a little bit. He was doing some interview, and he was like, I don't run from coaching. And he's like, he hears other coaches be like, oh, well, this guy's hand placement isn't good. Well, it's like, well, then that's coaching. Coach him up on that. Like, don't be scared of you got to coach guys up. You don't run from coaching. Well, here's Mike Tomlin. He's saying, all right, well, I'll take Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And you know what? Yeah. We'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah, well, I mean, so to that point, I remember going to a Steeler mini camp last year. So they were indoors doing a walkthrough, whatever. I walk in, Mike sees me, comes over. We start kind of just shooting the breeze. And, I said, what's new this year, Mike? And so, Pickett was back for full off season, all that kind of stuff. He goes, the only thing, honestly, is I got to adapt. Like, these kids are different than they were 20 years ago. I have to change the way that I teach. Like, I have to change. That's starting at the very top. I got to teach differently to make sure, because I can't just assume that all these guys had great training in college. They're all going to different schools. They're transferring. They're limited by how much they can. So I can't assume that they all know how to run block the way I want them to run block. So he was telling me the exact same thing you're telling, that you're just, speaking out loud about, but starting with him. Like, I got to teach differently, and I can't assume anything that they learned this in college. Let's find out what they know, what they don't know, and let's get them up to speed on what they have to do to be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
So, Baldy, make a prediction right now. We'll replay the tape at the end of the season. How many games does Justin Fields end up playing for the Steelers this year?
Oh, man. There's so many variables that can. I'll just say, just forget the conversation of variables, injuries, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'll say Justin Fields at the least starts 4 games, but I think he's going to play a lot. I think they'll have a package for Justin Fields. Like, that would make sense. I remember when Andy Reid drafted Donovan McNabb and Doug Peterson was the starting quarterback the first 4 or 6 weeks of the thing. I mean, Donovan was playing in every game. They had a package for him. Like, I think it'd be crazy not to have a package for Justin Fields, whether it's third down, red zone, short yardage. Like, I can see something, not just as a runner. Obviously, he can throw it. But I can see them having a package and playing 2 guys in certain situations.
People forget the Bears actually did that with Justin.
For 2 seconds.
It was 2 seconds because Andy Dalton got hurt and he had to play. But that would have continued if Andy Dalton had been the starter for 4 or 5 weeks. Like, they put Justin out there in week 1 against the Rams, and he scored a touchdown right away. So I think actually it would be crazy for the Steelers not to do that.
I just think you can't be just always conventional. You're going to hear people say, oh, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. Oh, I mean, if you got a guy that has like an elite skill set and he's a playmaker, like, why wouldn't you put him in a position where he can do those kind of things to help your team? I mean, if you look at the roster right now, they don't have a whole lot of receivers on the roster. Maybe they're going to add some, via the draft, whatever. There's George Pickens and there's a couple other guys. To me, they look a little shorthanded when it comes to playmakers right now.
Baldy, Nicholas Moriano and I went out to USC's Pro Day last week.
The great Nicholas Moriano.
To see Caleb Williams throw. And, boy, this sure seems like, I guess the last example would be the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence. And then the one before that would have been Andrew Luck and the Colts. It just seems like the whole world knows exactly what the Bears are doing, and this is just – and they're not really shying away from it. They were all talking about Caleb openly in the owners' meetings the last couple of days. You feel like the way this is headed is what the Bears should 100% be doing?
Yeah, I'd be shocked. And I think anybody that evaluates, the quarterbacks in this draft would be shocked if it's anything but Caleb Williams. I think they're putting him on the spot by saying, or and he doesn't know, he doesn't know all the things that could possibly happen. But I guess we could all get hit by meteors, tonight or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think Caleb is set to go. And I think that's their guy. And they cleared the space with what they did with Justin for him to come in and be the guy. And be honest with you, I don't think, and you could add Joe Burrow to that list of guys that you just said, guys that we were pretty sure what was going to happen. But I think there's just some level of misunderstanding about Caleb. But that happens. It happened with Cam Newton. It happens with all these guys. They just want to try and find any flaw, anything they can rip apart to try to – it's all part of the process. I think Caleb's pretty confident that he's going to be the Bears' property here in 29 days.
So, Baldy, my genius on the show has been underlined so many times, but I feel the need to do it again right here, which, I told everybody – that Tyson Bagent was going to be a capable backup, if not, and then he goes 2-2 and looks great. I told everyone that the Bears are going to go 7-10. The Bears went 7-10. I could keep on going, but I'll stop there. Andrew Luck threw for 4,374 yards as a rookie. That's tops in the history of the NFL rookie quarterbacks. 271.68 yards per game. Now, 17-game season. Do you think Caleb Williams with Keenan Allen, with DJ Moore, with Cole Kmet, with Everett, with DeAndre Swift, with whoever they're going to draft at 9, the great Caleb Williams with Shane Waldron, with an evolving Matt Eberflus, with a whole new look?
Are you done yet?
Can he do it? Can he break that record his rookie year?
Yeah, I think so. I think Caleb could do it. Yeah, I think the guy's going to be looking to put daggers in the sides of the Lions and the Packers as soon as he gets there. I believe in Caleb Williams. So I believe he could do it. Like I said, I think I told you the story that I went to a football camp with Caleb, and I was like the film guy at this camp. There was the top quarterbacks in the country were all there. And I sat in the film room with Caleb when he was 17 years old. This is 4 or 5 years ago. And you would have thought that he'd been in the NFL for 3 years, not because he was cocky or anything like that. But if you said, okay, how do you attack cover 3? What's the route combinations you like? He knew it. He knew every coverage that was being thrown, whether I was putting Mahomes up on the screen or Russell Wilson, whoever I was putting up there. He read the blitz. He read the coverage. He read how to attack what was coming at him. He was just sharp. He's been doing this a long time, and I think he's been well coached by Lincoln and by Cliff, and so I think he's ready for this next step. I don't think it's going to be a big jump for him.
Yeah, you played that.
We can clip that, Stephen. And
the show. Well, because you had that comment back in October, and I've probably played that clip as I've gone to bed probably 100 times in the last month. I'm very excited for the idea of Caleb Williams as a Bear. So I guess for me, we just talked about coaching and how important it is to adapt. You talk about Shane Waldron and the way he was able to, revitalize Geno Smith's career. Now he gets a young rookie quarterback who is one of the highest prospects to ever come out.
And real quick, Baldy, that was QB Collective you're talking about, right? That you were at? And Shane Waldron, part of QB Collective, too.
Yeah, that's true. So how do you feel that Shane Waldron can lift? Because that's the biggest – we talk so much about personnel, Roma, Dunze, and I, all these different things, and the glamour of the skill, but the coaching and the development has been what has failed so many quarterbacks here in Chicago in my lifetime. So can these guys get it done is the question.
Yeah, well, when you look at Shane and you look at Caleb and – you look at putting the marriage together. The one thing that I think you're going to see in Chicago immediately is when the play breaks down or they take the number one read away or the protection breaks down. I think there's going to be a real plan in place, beyond the X's and O's. That's what Caleb was known for at USC and at Oklahoma. He's a playmaker the way, and everybody wants to put him in Mahomes category. I'm not doing that. But we know what Mahomes does when all that stuff I just described happens and how lethal he is. And it starts with the quarterback's eyes and then how the players adjust to him. Now, how quickly he can build a rapport with Keenan, DJ, Cole, all that, is going to be critical. But that's what practice is all about. That's what walkthroughs and all this stuff is. And so it's critical that, once the draft takes place, that how quickly they can start working together and start building that type of chemistry. Are you guys in the Hall of Fame game this year in Canton?
We are.
Yeah, they just officially announced it
Tuesday,
August
right?
1st.
Well, it's going to start week one preseason. You guys are lucky.
Is that
preseason, or 4 preseason games now?
Is that better for a team or worse for a team, Baldy?
It changes their schedule. It changes how they approach preseason, since they're at least a week earlier than any other team. And so there's a little bit of a pacing thing. It's good for the young kids, the rookies and everything, to get, an extra game to get in there, get some reps.
Extra throws preseason.
Yeah, but
Yeah. And
Yeah,
this
go
brand new kickoff rule. First time we're going to see it in a game will be in the Hall of Fame game with Devin Hester going into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
That's cool.
It's kind of cool. I mean, for a preseason game, I'll sign up for that.
do you like that rule, Baldy?
I'm not crazy about it. I feel like they're creating this. It almost looks like Arena League, the way they're going to line up.
I agree.
And they want to get the return back in the game, which I'm a fan of. They're saying that it's going to make the game safer because you're not going to get 40-yard collisions, I guess. I guess we'll adjust to it, and hopefully we get some returns, which helps change the game. And, special teams coaches get to do their thing, and guys that are great special team players, they can kind of earn their keeps more than they have, because the play, the way it had been going the last few years, where you just kick it in the end zone, it just seemed like a silly play. So maybe it'll give it something, but I don't know. Wait,
hold on. Let me say football. Can I please say football? I know this is all the card. This is the toothpaste out of the bottle, however we want to put it. But I'm gonna die. But look, all you got to do. I don't know what's happening with me. Enjoy me while you can. All right, just listen to me. All they had to do was move the kickoff back. That's all they had to do. What's the most exciting play in all of football?
Kickoff.
Sure, but what's even more exciting than the kickoff? That happens once in a blue moon. The onside kick, when you don't know it's coming, in the middle of the second quarter, in the middle of the third quarter, it's.
Right, can I just, before you go, we don't need to waste 2 more minutes of this while you do this, okay? There were 2 surprise onside kicks last year.
Yeah, and there was 2. Great.
Okay,
that's fine. It's
Baldy,
still the most exciting play.
Do you know this? The last 15 surprise onside kicks that have happened, and this over the course of 5 years. So 15 plays in 5 years, only 2 of them were successful.
Who cares? It's exciting.
Because you're getting 1,000 extra returns
All
the
Saints essentially won a Super Bowl on a surprise onside
They
kick.
opened up the second half with an onside kick, stole a possession.
Yep.
You can have your cake and eat it too. All you had to do was move the kickoff line back,
and then you don't address any of the safety concerns.
They don't care about that. They're playing Christmas Day games. They're playing on Saturday. They're playing on Sunday. They don't care about that.
Playing on Wednesday.
It's total bull. The safety of the player. They don't care about that. They care about making money.
Carm, isn't that what they used to do?
Game schedule real soon.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Well, and then the thing I don't like too is all right, how are teams going to be able to? How are they going to adjust to it? Are we going to have a bunch of big kickoff returns? Exciting for the game, which is cool. But for me, as the Devin Hester gatekeeper of Chicago, then those records don't count. They're different than the original kickoffs. I'm a traditionalist, so you're going to start messing with my Hester, records. Then I'm going to have a real problem. That's where I draw the line, Baldy.
Well, let's see if somebody could take 20 back to the house the way Devin did. I don't know. I think even with the rules
if you're going to have 1,000 more kick returns, we're going to see more touchdowns. It's just
right, but that's what I'm saying. This Mickey Mouse thing they're doing, then it doesn't count. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Hester.
Baldy's with me.
Hey, Baldy, would you change who you have back there as far as would you want a speed guy or would you want somebody more like, I don't know, a bruising running back that can break tackles with how it's going to be?
Brian Mitchell type. I mean, I think you got to be the speed's the speed, and we've seen those. But Devin Hester was, he broke a lot of tackles doing what he did. He was a strong runner. So and he was used in a variety of ways. But I I think the returners in this world, like who knows, maybe Tyreek Hill is going to return a kick here and there, like in Miami. Like you could see the playmakers going, give me a shot at this. I want the ball in my hands. Used to be the Tim Browns and some of these guys, Tyreek, they were returners, punt returners, Pro Bowl, kickoff returners, and then they became so valuable as a receiver, they took that responsibility away from them, didn't want to risk injury. But I can see some of these playmakers in tight spots going, let me take it back, Coach. I'll find the crease and take it to the house.
Yeah, so real quick, Baldy, we got to let you go here, I know, but so I had a GM tell me in Orlando the last couple of days the personnel is going to change on the field instead of fast cover guys because this is more of a line of scrimmage play. They're going to be looking at guys who are bigger and have length because they're going to have to stack and shed in a phone booth more than run 40 yards downfield. So I'm just wondering. They tell Brian Baldinger in your heyday, hey, you got to go out there on kickoff. What are you going to tell Coach?
I'm going to go out there and do it, man. I'm going to do what Coach tells me to do. They need a good blocker out there to open up a hole at the, I'm going to go get in front of my man and screen him and do what I got to do. So like these special team coaches, it's all they do. They're going to come up with some unique ways to return these kicks. Like there's going to be trap blocks and there's going to be, I don't know what the rules are and blindsided blocks and things like that, but they're going to come up with some creative, innovative ways to find a lane for sure.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. Baldy, we know you got to run. Thank you so much. It's good talking to you again, and we'll hit on all the other off-season stuff the next time we have you on.
You bet, man. You bet, guys. Good to be back with you. Thanks now.
We all city like the mayor.